Welcome back to Satisfactory. As I mentioned in the previous, I had one more pure oil node I wanted to turn into power, and I had this really neat blueprint that Fluxo worked out. Followed his video very carefully and rebuilt the blueprint in my world, and there were a couple of small edits, but they were just small. It's just a really nice looking building for housing the generators. We got a little entryway here which ramps down to the pipeline input. We've got some little lighting effects done with signs that have their emissivity turned up. Nice texturing on the outside. I did have to make a change. Up here we've got the same kind of lights he has, which are basically a beam with a sign mounted to it and a double, what do they call that? A double beam connector. The beam connectors are made so that they kind of cover up the ends of beams where they come together at an angle. In this case, this double beam connector just perfectly covers the beam and the sign pokes out and looks nice. I tried to put it down here, but it wouldn't let me because apparently it goes vertically too far and it clipped into the blueprint generator. Now, I probably could have put the whole thing on a foundation, raised it all up by a meter or so and gotten it into place. But at that point, it would have been rebuilding the whole thing from scratch. It didn't. Inside, we've got a large billboard. I think it was the large billboards that caused me to have to use some technology unlock. Let's see here. Organization, large billboard, yes. This uses that thing in the bottom right, crystal oscillator. I had to open that up in the MAM. And then I had to make some manually because you automate those with the 4-input thingy that I don't have yet. So we make those crystal oscillators by hand so we can make these guys. And it's a really nice layout and provides us with 2 gigawatts for the 8 of them. Yeah, each one is 500 megawatts, so 2 gigawatts for the whole set of 8. And while I was doing that, I was kind of puttering around, and I had a CPU, I had a disk drive, so I let the disk drive cook, and when it came out, I got the recipe for heavy oil residue, which immediately turns crude oil into heavy oil residue and a little bit of resin. And the benefit of that is you can make more fuel, 50% more fuel, by going oil to heavy oil residue to residual fuel. And the resin that you have from that is enough to, on one of these guys, do basically 2 refineries 80% each for plastic and rubber. So while I was designing that, I came back and with this 2 gigawatts online, I removed the other oil plant so we can go recreate that. And that's what we're going to do now is I'm going to go rebuild the plant that I just built in the last recording. Put a couple more things down. Our water requirements are minimal. Remember that hour I spent setting up the pipes to go all the way out there because I was going to use water, and I put everything around the water and I had to pump everything out and back. There's our water. We've got this guy sitting on this oil ready to go. Just gonna foundation this up. So we have 240 cubic meters of oil per minute. Let me turn on the editor. Here is the checklist for the revised refinery. The oil goes into 8 refineries running the heavy oil residue. The heavy oil residue goes into 6 more refineries producing fuel, and that goes into 10 generators. So instead of 8, it's 10. And I think actually we produce a little more fuel than that, so we'll do the math. I did not include a packager packaging up packaged fuel. We will have that in place, and it will do that when we need packaged fuel. Okay, I think there's some extra fuel capabilities. We won't plug that in for a while yet. As I was tearing everything down, I kind of put everything in boxes. You see over here, I've got all the packaged fuel that I made. I had one box. I didn't want to do an industrial container of it. And over here, we've got all of the crapola. What do I not need to carry on me? I don't need to carry the coupons. Oh, if I leave them like that, I may drop them. Anything here that I can just leave behind, I think. I don't want to leave the AI limiters behind. I don't have many of them. But I can leave the wire there. We can always come back to this container if we run short on that stuff. And we have this whole flat area out this way. Now, I was going to take this apart until I realized that I was running this guy. My chainsaw can't use the liquid fuel. Darn it. So I need to go back and get some biofuel for the chainsaw to pick that up. We'll go do that real quick. I'm going to tell you what. I will put this on pause while I do this. I will be right back. It just struck me that I don't have a really good recording of what my desert floor base looks like from here. So I figured I would at least put a little bit of a taste of it. I think I've done the tour of this already. We have a minor feeder belt coming in here with the iron products, another one coming in over here with the copper products, kind of a pseudo bus heading out to the right. And these are all modules that were building the basic products. And as I mentioned way back, the recording I did these, they're just real simple. And then simple modules over here for doing the copper. Anyway, back when I've got stuff taken care of. And we're back from the main base. I have built things up. I thought I'd pause up here for a second, just so we could think about where we want things. So, sizes of the about that big. And that area right there, I'm going to cut off. So I can extend this out this way. I can even extend it out this way. So we need refineries making heavy oil residue and residual fuel. So that's 8 and 6. So maybe line up 8 and then line up 6 next to it. And the output of those 6 goes to the power. So maybe elevate the power station over here. Need to look at that. That may be something I can explode. Do I have explosives? I do not have explosives on, so I can't explode that. Not yet. And the size of our power area, this is 2x4. I'm going to be going 2x5, so it's kind of a big chunk. It'll be 20 foundations this way. Oil coming in from here, fuel coming out here. So maybe, yeah, I'll put the power plant out to the right here. So the power plant's going to be over the water. And maybe impinging on this little island somewhat. So the power plant to the right. So heavy oil residue, residual fuel power plant. That means that on the left, We're gonna have to take, well, we're gonna have to take the polymer resin. Well, that's solid. That's going to be easy to move around. And we'll have to wrap it around to the left-hand side. Maybe bring it down here, over. We've got water from here. We only need one water. And might as well tap off of these guys. Notice I've severed the link here. So these two are feeding the old power station. These two are for the new stations. Each new station requires 80% of one. So at the moment, they're just linked up. I will be replacing this guy with the new recipe when I've worked out how I want to make him. Over there, I'm looking forward to being able to tap that resource. I don't know how much oil we get. Later on, we'll have better recipes, so this is still not the final refinery, but it should do us until we're done with this phase. Residual plastic and rubber, water. Of course, down in this area somewhere, I will tap some of the fuel. So the fuel is going to be up here. Somewhere I need to tap the fuel and some plastic, and have machines that are turning out the packaged fuel. Did the math, and the refineries we are building can do just over 10 fuel generators worth of. It's 216 fuel they're creating and 200 that they're output. We are running 6 machines at 88.889, so 8/9 efficiency. We're running 6 of them. Kind of a weird number. It's tempting to put down 8 of them and then just simply underclock the 8. Be appropriate. But tempting does not mean I want to spend the extra. Besides, that would mean I would want to do 6 across this way, 8 across this way, and then 8 across that way. And the output then would have to be routed that way and come back. So it changes the way that it lays out. I think that's good. Sure, I've got my parachute. And boom. Let's go start the build. And I am suddenly going to change my plans. I'm going to put the primary refineries over on this edge. So we're going to come take the oil out this way. Looking at it from the air made that a little more clear. And 6 and then 8 and then 6. And the fuel comes out and the fuel gets, yeah. So this guy is going to come out here and around. Water will come up this way and go to wherever. That actually works. I think we need one more of these. I wish I could just hang out at this height. But I'm not turning on flying. I'm not going to go any... It is. Okay, so this is correct. I thought I'd sussed this out. This is the last foundation that shows above ground consistently all the way out. And I'm going to do 2 of them. And let's get rid of all this cruft. I'm sorry, but I am going to sacrifice yet another nut plant. I should be getting fairly full of inventory. Yeah, I left myself a little bit of inventory space. Good. Also set it up so that I am, when I build things, I will build using depot resources first. This is a very resource-intensive build, thanks to the blueprint that I'm using. Hideously large amounts of concrete. But we'll get there. Anyway, that's why I want to drag from depot first. We're going to come from here, down this way, over this way, and back up that way to feed the refineries. This means our first refinery will go somewhere like this. In fact, I am going to bring that ladder right down there. We need to have, well, these don't take any inputs, but on the other end, we'll have refineries pointing other way. Okay, so my fuel is going to be along this line. That actually argues for having my power plant off of that corner up there, doesn't it? Yeah, okay. And bringing the fuel back. So the fuel will output solid and liquid. So it's going to have one of these. So we don't want to bring liquid across really tight. We want to bring it out here. Means we're not going to bring the fuel back. Okay, I was just checking. Make sure we get that right. I think I want my pipes to all line up kind of on the left-hand side here. Use this guy along this line. There, and there's my commit for that. And we're going to bring this along this way, and I'm going to make it so that he is as far from that corner as that corner. He is along here. And there. Okay. Mark 1 pipe, this is going to come out here, so we're nice and straight. And then we're going to let this do its thing. Change that into... We don't need the extra meter on that little... So we're kind of going all the way around. And I was off by one there. Wow, I can't get it anywhere near there. Hold down the control key and it'll keep it straight. And now there to there. Main pipe with meter. Zap the support so it looks pretty normal. I put down the new pipes. They're coming up with my normal factory colors. Go Gauchos! Good enough. I'm going to go to there, but yeah, that's too long. We're going to make a stop here. So that's going to line up with... That's going to line up with the piping that we do. So we're just kind of keep everything all lined up here for no particular reason. These are crude oil. Let's paint it so the custom swatch, customizer. We said swatch 17 was going to be our oil paint. Go. And now we just need to put the rest of these down. Need a total of 8 of these for the first one. All of these guys are building heavy oil residue. There's our super special. We actually have opened up a heavy oil, and I think, yeah, we also have the poly. So we can do a oil refinery whose primary output is polymer resin. So if we wanted to do great quantities of plastic or rubber or both, we would use the polymer resin recipe. But we're going to use heavy oil residue, so we get a lot of extra heavy oil, which gives us a lot of fuel. I console by mistake. Go. Actually surprised the console is enabled. I have been fiddling with this game for so many years, though it's no surprise that I left that enabled at one point. So this isn't exactly what I wanted. I want to do one more thing here. I want to put in a industrial tank to buffer up the crude oil, so we end up with a full tank of crude at some point. And I want to use a pump to pressurize the downstream line. I don't think that's important per se. The other thing I want is I want to bring it in from one side of the tank and out the other side. So let's put the pump in here somewhere, and we have to be centered on this. Organization, industrial fluid buffer. We're organized like this. And there's that. And let's see if I can center it up somewhat. It strikes me I can put it there. Have this clean pipe go in there. Oh, wait a minute. Let's not even make that a clean. Mark 1 pipe there. Mark 1 pipe there. I think at this point I'm using the normal non-clean Mark 1s so often that I think I want that to be the hot button. 8. So we can watch our meter here. We can check our fluid buffer. And watch our meter coming out of the fluid buffer. We potentially could do something with bringing more oil in or sending more oil out. Okay. I think we are good here. And I am going to feed this power so we can start filling in the buffers. Well, I'm going to need to take this that way, of course. What direction is my power outlet? This is back non-center. Over to here. There we go. Should have done that first. My intention is that whenever we have manifolds or buffers, I stop. Well, don't stop. I tend to want to have the buffers filled, or at least filling, before I start drawing from them. That gives me a nice feeling for where we're going to go and what we're this guy, this line. Here. Go back to the jetpack. He's in the wrong place. I thought he was in the wrong place. So when you're putting it down, it can clip to these points here, ½ meter. But when you hologram it, the power lines, even if you hold down control, move by 1 meter. So just bear that in mind. We now have power going to these guys. And they have no input. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by laying out the junctions for these guys. That. Okay. I want all of their inputs to be full before I let any of them start doing. So we're going to put everybody to standby. I alternately could just, let it run until all of their outputs are saturated, or at least every machine has at least one output saturated. These are all standby. And now we can put our... Can I do it from above? Oh, that is easy to clip in. Do it this way. The other thing I wanted to put in was the pump. We actually have a really good spot for the pump right in here. Sticks, pump, turn it around, and this puts the nub roughly up. I thought I could rotate it. Can't be nudged, can't be rotated. Okay, well, that's going to be how it is. Oh, you click it. I had to click it twice there, so if I clicked it once, do that again. So you put it roughly in place, click it once, and now we can rotate it. So I could set it up like that. Okay, well. Now, I'm running almost full inventory, so there is a box in there. Let's get rid of it. Because it took these from... Yeah, it grabs stuff from the depot and gives it back to me when I pick things up. So, we've got to watch that. We are going to be running low on inventory space if we're not careful. Put all but a bit of our concrete in there because we need it. Well, we will need it. I'm pretty sure we are going to end up placing concrete faster than we can refill the depot, which is why I'm carrying so much of it. The other big hitter is the steel beams. Carry 2. Put you on top of the box. That. Is there anything else I want to leave in a box? Actually, let's put the... We have a ton of this stuff locally. In fact, we have a full box over there. That takes care of our bulk. But now when we put down a machine and then pick it back up, we won't automatically get one of these. So let's try this again. Organization. No. Logistics. Work. 1 pump. left to right. And I can hologram it and look at it, but you can't nudge it or turn it. Click once. We can't nudge it, but we can rotate it. Now, what if I rotate it all the way around there? Well, if I rotate it so that that light is horizontal, that means that these pistons go out the bottom. Vertically, this is actually the normal. Well, this is actually the normal positioning for it. Yeah, let's just leave it at default. The other ones aren't actually much better. And that has that little indicator light going vertical. So that's going to do is, while this pipe may not stay completely full, this pump will do its best to keep this guy full. Back to swatch 17. Make sure everybody's all customized. Oh, the other thing is there are rumors of pipeline bugs. You notice that this pipe and this pipe are meeting in the middle here, and that is somewhat troublesome. I'm going to replace this whole line with one pipe from there to the pump and one from there and that should deal with any questions about what's going on with these pipes and that pump. I've been seeing a lot of chatter about Mark II pipeline bugs and how this, don't allow the pipes to be adjacent to each other inside something. So if you place a pump or a junction on a pipe, delete the pipe going through and recreate it connecting properly, and that seems to be the trick. Notice we are at 3 crude oil, so these guys don't require a whole lot to be delivered before they work. And this pump should have shut down because it is full on both sides. It has no head lift to speak of, so we're not worried about that. This also means that if we get in the habit of using pumps, we do have the ability to raise the output by another 20 meters above the pump. So this guy provides some head lift, and this guy provides more. I wonder, does he provide enough head lift to fill the buffer? That'll be interesting. I don't know if I can fill this buffer or not. I may not have enough head lift to raise the level all the way to the top. Anyway, that is enough to allow us to start creating out here. I'm going to turn these guys on. We now have 8 machines that are making heavy oil residue and polymer resin. So the heavy oil residue is going to have to come out on the ground level on the pipe. And I'm going to want to have it go through a industrial container like that before going on to the next thing. So I think the easy way to do that is just enforce a gap between refineries. Normally I would just stack the refineries onto the end of it and be done with it, but I don't think so, not this time. Where that pipe lies is going to be determined by how these guys come together. I think what I'm going to do is have these merge in pairs. Okay. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 8. I thought something wasn't right. So when we split our polymer resin, we are going to be splitting it between 2 machines making residual plastic and 2 making rubber. But they take different amounts of resin. So it's not going to be 4 refineries feeding plastic and 4 feeding rubber. It's because I have decided to make the same amount of plastic and rubber rather than use the same amount of machines or something. If you two come straight out, you can have a merger here taking from the left and the back and have its output pointed to the right, and a merger here. So we end up with all 4 of these merging together, and we can do the same thing over here. We don't actually want to deal with the upper layer quite yet, but I figured as long as I'm putting in the lifters, I would set them up properly. Now we need to have a line of pipes. Bringing these guys out, this is going to be 8 times 40, 240. It will fit in a Mark I pipeline, and it doesn't fill it, so I'm good. 240 is close enough to 300 for me. I don't need to run their pipelines at their rated outputs. Not yet. 7. We're going to bring you out. So this line right here is as close as we can get. So I'm going to bring you out to here. Let's bring you out to the midpoint here. I'm going to give a little extra space. I just realized I haven't hooked up the back of this yet. Let me get these junctions in place, and then we'll go deliver the crude oil to the 2 machines we just added. Yep. All set. Now, I could color these machines black because they deal with crude oil. I think I'm just going to leave them in the normal factory colors, which are, of course, colors that I changed to. And let's grab fluid. And I am going to need a pipeline color for the heavy oil residue, which I don't think I have set up yet. You are in the wrong place. There we go. So if I'm going to put an industrial buffer in here, I could either have the fuel on the left or I can have the fuel on the right. I'm going to put the fuel on the right. So the industrial buffer will go in here. Come on. It's under organization. That. match that purple? I'm going to go see if the purple is in the website somewhere. I'll be right back. Yes, I found a really nice set of colors, so we're going to go with that. Let's see, let's get our web browser plugged in the back again. So I have picked up some nice stock colors, well, not stock colors, some nice colors for Heavy Oil Residue. The crude oil color is not exactly 000 black, and I've picked up a watercolor and a fuel color that are probably more correct. And we got them here: so water, crude oil, fuel, and you guys still aren't working because I have power yet. Power and get power. There. And now I need to program. And because we have that big old tank of crude oil at the pump, these just start right up because they will draw from the backlog. Now I am about 240 per minute coming in here. I've got 8 machines, just checking capacity, taking 30 per minute. 8 by 30 is 40. So this guy, his levels should be going up and down slightly because we are not delivering this as a continuous flow and consuming it as, so we really don't need an industrial there. My purpose was that if we have it running overnight, I'm hoping that we will get that, up to the top. Perhaps we want to downclock one of these a bit so that we use less than 30 per minute. I'll think about it. The first time I let this run overnight, I will check my buffers and see whether they end up empty or full after an overnight run. If they end up full, I'll leave them be. If they end up empty, I will reduce the amount of consumption. So, refinery, and I'm going to put it in the same orientation first. I'm going to try to line it up. Although this is not going to give me a center line, I think. Nope. The center line. We'll just line it up on the back. So here is where we put just like that. Yes. This one we need 6. You are not an authorized fix-it employee. Should be 6. You guys are making residual fuel, which takes the residue and turns out fuel. No second input, no byproducts on the output, just simple take this in and turn that out. Six. Gotcha. Keep it simple. I'm going to bring my pipeline in on the same line. Back into in line with the... I do want a pump in here somewhere. Between these two, maybe? Yeah, I think so. Somewhere in the middle here. Right here. We are going to put in pump. See, right. Alt orientation. And then we do a little bit of a dance here to see if we can avoid getting in pipeline bugs. And I haven't brought power out to this edge at all yet. So far we've been just down the middle. Let's just bring... for me. All the way out to the edge. How are we doing? Oh my goodness, it's already full. Wow. That's pretty good. We filled this industrial, even though these guys are going to be building up a whole bunch of polymer resin, so they can make a whole stack of polymer resin. That means that if you forget to drain the resin, you can have a factory going for quite some time before you realize just how bad things are. I think, given how fast this fills things, I probably don't need to leave them turned off. Okay, power. Power. Well, that's right. We have that. There's our fuel. So the resin, I'm thinking, comes out here. We have 4 machines in this area, and fuel comes out here, and we build our friendly little power plant here. Power plant is 20 foundations. I think I am going to line up my plastic and rubber, those 4 machines, so this way. Okay, that works nicely with where the pump is. taking our inputs from this section. I'm not going to be connecting that pipe, but the fact that we can line up there and just need enough space for these guys to bring in polymer resin and water. I'd like to make it really, really super easy to bring in the water. I think I can bring the water up the ramp here, through here, and back through. Turn. I think I'm going to have the water on this center. I want to bring that guy out there to have the same kind of space. I'm keeping the spacing consistent even though there isn't going to be a lift on this side. Wait a minute. Yes, there is. I'm sorry. Of course there is. Gotta get the resin in. There we go. So I need resin. All 8 of these merged together and then split evenly across all of these. I know how to do that. Just like that. Let's put these on. This is going to be a splitter from the middle. From the middle. We'll have another splitter hanging out in midair up there. Well, one of them, I guess. Bring it up. So these two splitter taking from the middle. This splitter takes from the right. Gonna be evenly out. I can just leave him supported by his belt. That's fine. Similar up here, we have mergers. We're gonna have another merger in the middle. Just temporary. That way. Merger coming toward me. Toward me. So that merger and that merger need to merge together and send it over that splitter. So since this doesn't line up perfect, does line up. Merger. In keeping with the buffering that I'm doing, industrial buffers, I'm going to put a industrial container in here. Actually, I can put it down at the ground level. He's not hanging out in midair. I've set the filter to only mark foundation ones. Get in here. Highlighting as we do it. I think that's got that. Okay. So, industrial storage. In line with him, lined up in the middle. So if I have any, now is the time to dump it in there. And these guys are going to dump into this container until it is full. We don't have these guys hooked up yet. That's okay. We can actually... Oh. This is a critical point here. I need to put a smart splitter in. Let's get that going first. A smart splitter, sending the overflow off to I think off to the right where we can sink it. Set that up right now. Builder, special, some sink. So that's going to need to be out like that. Do I want to put it on ground level? Let's put it on the ground level. Down there and dog leg somewhere out in the middle. Awesome sink. Needs to be clear of this and better here. Oh, wait a minute. It's out like this. There we go. You Tap right in there. So center output gets any, right-hand output gets overflow. And that takes care of any residue, well, not residue, any resin that we can't handle yet. That on, and he's immediately full, so. I believe all of these are, but they need water and they need programming. Plastic on this side, still plastic. Oh, wait a minute, the plastic, plastic plus fuel. So we're gonna put plastic on this side so we can use the plastic to make containers to put fuel in. This guy now needs to be residual rubber. Resin and water. That should be resin and water. Good. Now, when I was putting this in place, I momentarily forgotten that I needed water in, and it just, by luck, I didn't put it too close. So the water goes there. Good enough. On this line, we're coming up on the right-hand side. I'm actually going to jog that over and be in the lane instead of on the edge. I ran my pipes wrong when I put the first guys in. I may read at some point. Let's make it go correct when it leaves those guys, and we'll fix it later. We'll fix it. Right. See if that ever happens. Have a pipe here. There's always the danger that I line up with the center line of the guy instead of its input. I think the line moves when it's lined up to the correct thing. Draw you out straight, or we need to start going down. Draw you straight to, I think, the ends. And then, let's see, let's bring you out straight most of the way. We need 80% of one. We actually have two hooked up. The other one is providing additional water, which we use for when we replace the plant up there. All of this, except for the one that I'm placing down, all of it's going to get replaced. And then we're going to replace the one I placed down once we get the better recipes. So power. Draw you edge. Pick up main power. These guys now have power. They're programmed. They have their inputs. We should be creating. These have no liquid output. We need to merge these two together and present it to the depot. Merge these two together, present it to the depot, and also provide output for making containers and packaging up fuel. You know, that's actually easier to do if I do it on a level. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these together at this far end. Bring these together at this far end. Gives you a little bit of extra space to work with. A little extra space to work with. Meter here. Way down. I think I'm going to bring it out to the left. No particular reason, other than just I think it might be organization. Yeah, actually it gives me a little bit of a extra positioning stability container all the way out to the edge. Him. In the bottom one. Now the rubber gets to merge together in here. Running. You are not getting any in stuff. We have no stuff coming. Have no stuff. These guys are stopped up because their heavy oil residue is full. They have completely filled this industrial tank with heavy. Not doing anything. Get this working. Go. Back in just a second. Okay, small interruption. Where was I? I was getting these guys online. So we have our smart splitter, we have the sink, we have these guys running again because I had dumped their output. And the rubber should now be producing the occasional bit of rubber to go into here. Good. And this gives me the freedom to put the uploader either on top or out front. This guy is going to get together. I think what I'm going to do is put the merger on here and then put a smart splitter here. So we'll send it to a box. And we will send it to... We've got three things we want to do here. We want to put it in a box. Oh, wait a minute. Two things. We want to put it in a box, and we want to turn it into fuel. And actually, we can do those sequentially. So I can put it in a box, which I can do symmetric. Oops, I did not want to take that. We can do the same kind of layout we had on the other side here. needs to be... I think I'm just going to take up most of this. These guys need to be 1 meter. Are they 1 meter? They are 1 meter. I think these guys are going to be picked up. The merger, output to the right. And I kind of like symmetry, so we're going to put our box in this way. And we're going to line him up. Which way were we lined up here? Plastic will come in and will go into this box. But I'm going to provide a way for the box output to be taken and used. I kind of like, if I'm taking it down, if I'm taking the output of a box, I'm only taking it to one thing. I kind of like doing from top down like this so I can see what I'm grabbing. You are going to come out here. At some point you're going to make a turn, but I'm just going to drag you straight. There's a plastic supply for whatever we need a plastic supply for. Fuel. Fuel needs to come out of these guys. Let's go into an industrial buffer and then feed our fuel plant, which is going to be massive. I would like this to line up, but this, you know, I can't bring it out here. Bring my fuel lines out along the same line. That will satisfy the symmetry at this. Have power, everything's ready to go. The only thing we don't have is our output being harvested and set somewhere. Boom. Take care of that. So, I would like to line these up, but we're not going to. Instead, going to put them in. He's going to be kind of in the midpoint of there. His output's going to need to go through a pump because I prefer to pressurize my output pumps or output pipes. So let's get him painted up. It's fuel. This is a slightly darker fuel color than I did before. But since I changed the swatch, all the existing fuel pipes would have been up. That matches pretty good. Matches pretty good. So the tip off here is if I see a pipe with a meter and the thing inside the meter is a different color from the pipe, then I know to go double check what the pipe is supposed to have in it. That's a nice match. So the color of crude oil is kind of just a little bit purple of dark. I really... what color did this add? OA09OF. Yeah, okay. So it's very dark purple. Doesn't quite match. Not sure what the color is here. Maybe it's just a lighting thing. So let's edit you. We'll do shiny. Not sure I really like shiny, and it doesn't change the color to match. Alt. Let's leave it matte. How are we doing here? He's almost full. Good. He should be close to full, but varying up and down just a little bit. Guy I emptied. He's now almost full again, so he's going to tend to be full. This guy is filling rapidly. And now with all these hooked up, this one may or may not stay full because I believe I am using up exactly what I'm. Let's see, guy is producing 40 per minute times 8 is 3. Hold on. 320 heavy residue oil per minute. So our factory is going to be limited by how fast we are producing heavy oil residue. 300 instead of 320. To fix that, I would have to break my my facility 2 or on 2 of these pipes, or upgrade to level 2. I think what I'm going to do is live with the fact that I've only got 300 out of 320. These guys are inputting 60 per minute. 6 of them, so that's 360. So I really need to derate these. We take 300, split 6 ways. I need to do 50 per. So this is 150 over 60. Don't really need to down clock. They will. On the other hand, if I leave it clocked normally, they will throttle themselves based on input. This means that we're sending out 150 joule, not 160. So at 150 fuel, I don't believe we get our full 10 generators. So 320 heavy, what I have on my plan, let's turn it on so we can walk through this. So I missed this number when I was reviewing the plan. 320 heavy oil residue is a problem. Nominally, we are producing 160. That's actually 150. 150 becomes 100. What's our ratio here? 6 becomes 4, so 150 becomes 100. Okay. Oh, 320, 300 becomes 200. But we are turning out 200 fuel per minute. Exactly. So what I would have to do here is go back and change the plan to derate the heavy oil residue. So this is 300. We would still come up with the same thing. This would be a lower overclock, but we still get 10 fuel generators, but just barely. We may want to leave one of the generators turned off until we have a full tank of fuel. That's perfectly okay. I mean, 8 generators is what you originally scoped out to build in this spot. And is like just an extra half gigawatt. But we are filling this, so we may not have to leave the guys off. So this is our fuel supply. I'm going to pressurize. I could move him to the left a bit. But there's a natural place for his pump on the right. Can't move him to the left much. Well, that'll do. Yeah, I just wasted a whole bunch of fuel. We're filling this up quick. So we use the tool for fuel for 2 things. We have our power plant, which is going to head out that direction. Over here, we need to build a little factory power. Not you. Packaged fuel here. Can I bring it along this line? I think I can. And you are just going to sit here making empty canisters. And the output of that is going to go into a packager. Packager. You're going to take the canisters on the that. You're going to drag your output right out there into the Now there's going to be no smart stuff on you, because we are not going to be getting rid of this packaged fuel. Once he backs up, and that's fine. So our pressure relief here is not in the plastic or the rubber, it's back here. So the resin gets dumped when rubber and the plastic are both backed up. Now, fuel, before I let this do its stuff, I need to bring the fuel over that I already had, and I need to bring over his carry on for this bit. This time I am going to be using an industrial container for this fuel, because, you know, why not? Go. Go up there, here like that, and that will keep more fuel available than I will ever need. So you need to collect some fuel. This guy needs a pump. Doing that was a pump. Bring you to down. This way. You are going to be packaging. You out to here. So this line is going to come this way. Means we ought to start our fuel plant about here. Oops. I think it's nominally 8 by 10 area. I'm going to do 10 by 20. And we'll end up with a generous area down there. This is going to be 11, so we only do by 9. Check all out. Hit proper size. And that matches up. As I'm building this, I'm thinking that perhaps revising that blueprint for the fuel generator to sit on top of a foundation would have made this easier. I would just kind of put them together. I wouldn't be putting out this base foundation to begin with. Oh well, this gives me better opportunity to scope out the size of the plant and whether this is feasible or not. I think this is going to be just fun. There's the footprint of the plant. And I guess I'm going to start filling it in from the back corner. Here is the blueprint. Called the Fluxo generator because Fluxo built this blueprint originally, and then he did a great video on how to do it, and I kind of followed it. It's an effort worthwhile. Yeah, I blew it. So I want to center it roughly there. That corner I want to have exactly on the corner. This lines up with but this is exactly 4x4. It's not. Well, in that case, let's tap it out so that my big walkway is on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here's the midpoint of the whole thing. This is where the fuel pipe is going to go. And it's like I will be using clear that way. Because there is some clipping out the bottom. There's little bits and bobs of it that actually go down below base plane. And it's going to show yellow on the sections there. Perfectly open. Go to build mode blueprint so that they stack properly. Make sure I get it rotated so they are properly aligned. Each to double check. So our walkway up top connects across. We have space here, plenty of space here. And now we need to go pick up a bunch of stuff that we, because each one of those uses up a large amount of concrete. And we do not want to wait for our concrete machine to pick up those. It also does a lot of that. And apparently we have some more concrete. What do I want to leave? Oh, we've got some resin I can put in the... Oh, I don't have a way of injecting stuff in. We'll dump it in here. Resin. I could leave rotors in there. There. So this will continually be taking from the depot as fast as we add concrete to probably steel. Well, these guys, steel beams. See the resources this takes. 635 concrete and 145 steel beams. We can go through that real fast. We're putting down 8 of these. And of them, actually. There's our first 5 generators. This does come right out to the wall. The one thing that I need to patch up on this, we have Z fighting on the ends of the walkways. And I will have to fiddle around with those. I think I can put another pylon, another one of these pillars on its side to kind of seal off the end here. And something to deal with vertical, seal it all up like that. Anyway, we'll work it out. It's tempting to put another one of these and then just chop it at that. That's a whole lot of stuff to hauling through. So you go. get you rotated. Center the walkway on that line. Centered there. We're off by an entire foundation. Try it from here. Edge. And we're set. And I want these aligned because we're going to have pipes coming in from this way and a splitter that sends it to. So while I was building it, and during the pause in between, we were able to get quite a lot of concrete built in. But you notice how much of that concrete I used up. Even so, taking from depot first meant that it maximized the amount of time the depot was providing me with stuff. So this is going to come in. We're going to have it pressurized already. We're going to have it up high. Bring it in here, and we're going to, these guys, split it. It goes directly on that center. So that we have a straight line, that pipe in here. Although that's incorrect. I'm glad I looked. I could put it that way. This is kind of a different way. It's meant to go the other way. I could do it this way. That's not bad. I'll do it. That's kind of an accidental thing. Yeah. Sneak it right in here. Does mean that we can walk through the middle now. But it doesn't let me walk in the middle until it finishes building it. Guess you have to stay outside the bounding box. Actually, I like that organization. I put it the other way around in the other installation, and it looks good, but you kind of have to slide by the side. This, it's really clear. You can walk through the middle. You can go up here and make the turn in. I like it a lot, actually. We will come back and paint the pipes properly. So Flux's design aesthetic here used black a lot, and I think he intended to use black pipes. He's got white here, probably white pipes with black fittings. I don't know. We're gonna make my pipes color coded as to what they carry, because I value information over aesthetics. I could never do a really cool looking design because I always get caught up in making it so that I could look at it at a glance and understand what's where. But I do appreciate it beautiful. We're going to come out from here. We're going to come down and make a turn. Over there, we're going to come out and down. So there's going to be a merger in here somewhere, merging from above in that line. How far out can I go before I stop? Whole thing. So you need to be on that line. Back button. It's 2. So here's the line that comes out from the container. It's actually about right. Horizontal to vertical, if I bring it to there, that looks... You straight in. This guy is going to go out here. Part way. That. Up. Okay, there is our twist using vertically. Horizontal to vertical. In. Oh, man. No. Absolutely. We are going to come to here. And we're going to come this way. Gets us a nice vertical. Go. And to avoid any possible pipe bugs, and you clip it because this pipe and this pipe came all the way to the middle instead of stopping at the place, which may or may not be causing problems, but certainly if we declip like this, as the rate, this guy is not high. I think he needs to be on the to it. That's level. Good. So if these two match up, I'm done. Hey! And I'm going to clean. So, feeder coming to here, that way. Feeder up top, just in case. And pump goes in here. Oh, wait a minute. Let's figure out the place to put it. Just, work one pump. To there. You're on this side. Lean on that side. And you now have pressure behind you. And keep these guys absolutely packed full. As long as we have fuel. And we're almost full. Good. Next thing is to hook up the power. These guys have this little power nubbin on the back. Very convenient. I haven't decided. As I am hooking up these connections, which are obvious, I am not trying to decide how I want to route the power. Pick these up and add them to my power. You just bring this out to the corner here. These little 1 meter tall walls. It's corner. Down here. All the way, I could stop it. Here, this is my main power corridor up. And we are now hooked up. I'm going to jitter around a little bit because we are not actually full of fuel yet in our generators. Who is having trouble staying on? See the guys on the far end. Yeah, these need to fill up to 20 before we full. Got 10 machines. 20 permits. These are going to be consuming 200. Should be moving 300. Oh, close enough. Not sure why the flow rate dips. Maybe if you don't have the pipe full. All our generators pretty much start at the same time, so they're probably going to be bursty. I don't know. Going to be enough? It's best. I think that'll eventually stabilize out. Let's get this painted up while it is getting going. So inside here, it actually has two of these screw holes. They're very carefully placed in. We'll refer to Luxo's tutorial how to build them. Very carefully engineered so that these are exactly the right distance for all this to work. Still filling. We're stable now. But it's not full, but it's got some. So the third pair of machines, it looks like it should be full now. Yep. And we're working on our last pair. Almost there. Come on, you can do it. We touched 50 for a moment, and now we are holding at 50 and getting. Pipe segments are still filling. I think the model is the machines actually have a pump internally that will fill their internal reservoir from this external pipe. So the external pipe is going to be thirsty. Come on, guys, you can fill it up. I wonder if all of these pipes end up at the same level. Yeah, it looks like all the pipes end up at the same level, so the whole thing is just going to fill up slowly based on the difference between the 200 that we're consuming and the 300 that we're sending out. These low pipes are already completely full. Only where we make this transition to the high pipe where we are going to be. Oh, that's fun. Oh, and we're also diverting some of it over here. I'm going to turn this guy off for a bit, because he's taking 40 of our 300. It could be going towards 40. And that's a lot of fuel, so we don't really need all of that fuel being built. The fill rate is going to bop around as our generators go up and down. They would be, should center it around 200. Drain rate will continue at 300-ish. I wonder if we're getting drain rate being high because it drains out the back sometimes. Do I need to put in a I think I need to put in something on this side to keep it from backflowing. Hey, you learn. It's a good thing we aren't depending on that power yet. We're going to go back to organization. We're going to put our industrial fluid buffer in. We're going to give ourselves a little more room so it ends up center. The difference is that over here, you're going to put in a valve. Carve out the pipe that's required. Clean pipeline from you to you, and from you to you. So if I mark both of you, notice that you do not meet in the middle. Yay! This valve says 300 cubic meters a minute left to right. Nobody goes right to left. So now our drain rate will be just the drain rate to this direction. So since I did what I did, all of that fuel went away, which means that we are eating up as much fuel as we are producing. So let's go turn it off. That will allow us to make sure all of the pipes are completely full. I'm not sure why the drain rate's sitting at 260. This pump should be pulling all of it that we can handle. But these guys are 20 each. So our total here right now should be 160 that we're drawing. About 200 when we turn these back on. The rest of it goes into this pipe. We should be pulling 300 a minute through that pump. I wonder if industrial fluid buffers that are that low can't manage. Let's let this fill. Oh, and my little checklist can go away, can't it? So, Alt key press is how you ping. And if I Alt tab away, when I come back, it still thinks the Alt button is pressed. So, I don't know how much fuel I have to have in here before we can pump it out at 300, but I'm willing to give it a shot now. There we go. So, pumping at 300 a minute there. because I left the fluid unhooked. That means that this drained it out a bit. Back guys should have used up some of their back. I don't know. Already filled it. Yeah, we're already full again. Okay. Looks like we're done here. These guys are nice and stable. Got the nice rooms all set up. We've got our nice hallways. Got a nice area to walk through here with the pipes up above so they're out of the way. I really like this build. There, and I'm going to... So my left hand, I'm holding down Control, Shift, W. And there are 60 walls total. F, hit G, Control, W, run down to the far end, and there, the walls around it. I think these builds kind of stand on their own. How do I do this? Let's take a look at this. I'm going to see if I can cover up the ends here. Properly. That is not tall enough. There was a trick that he used during the build, getting top of this guy at that level. Come in here, grab picture, painted beam. Little 1 meter painted beam there. Him on there. Fill it in. And that looks... Now the other problem is getting... I think that would look mostly okay. No, it's on the... I want it to be him. End up with that. Just like that. You know what? Just gonna trim the end off. And then see if I can bring a pillar out here. I know how to put those. It's not a problem. Well, they're painted beam. stand up here when I do this. That works. And now to top it off, guys, in. Probably should bring the lights in there, but I think that's a little fiddly. We get the, so we'll think about the lights next. So basically I trimmed off fucking spade off of these. And I know I can do need him start from there. That's a much easier way to build. Now, Fluxo very carefully placed each one of his railings so that they were merged here, and he painted them white color, like that color. I think it's swatch 6. Yeah. So paint our railings on the other side. So now the other direction. The only place we need to fix this is on the other end. Matters less. Because there's nobody to see it. Trim that off. Him. Bring that across. Drop in our railing. Super simple. And if I ever want to extend this out, I just have to delete and replace end guys to get the end bits proper. What I'm doing is that far left-hand side of the railing, just lining it up with seam between the two pipes. I make it as close as I can, but if it's not so perfect, that's okay, because it doesn't need to be. Or have you seen railings installed in real locations? You pretend that the contractors would get every railing within tenth of a millimeter precision. Good. Like the extra foundation out there. How are we doing for power? You're sitting here with 4.54 gigawatts of power, rock solid. Leave these machines off, I think. Left them off. go. We are now consuming, I think, slightly more fuel than we are producing. So until we get Mark II pipes and fix up the fact that I am trying to move more purple stuff in the pipe, that really bugs me. It really bugs me. It bugs the heck out of me. I'm going to fix it. Here's how we're going to fix it. Wait, could I actually clip one to the top of the other one? Oh, you can. That's even better than I had planned. So, I'm going to put a second one up above it. I'm going to take half of my purple juice up to that level. That's have a go up. Oh yes, we do. So 1 meter lower than this. No, 1 meter lower. Here, grab purple stuff from somewhere. It doesn't even need to be even, really. Need to grab purple. Get up here, because 320 is like the last two I could do. I could bring it in from there. So I could bring it from here. Oh, it doesn't matter where I bring it from, as long as I bring it from somewhere other than this end. I bring it from the other end completely. Right, so we'll have the whole thing going into the pipes. One end of the pipe going here, the other end there. I will need pumps. This end can rise. For instance, we happen to have a pump over. So let's start with hole ceiling. You there. Horizontal to vertical. That. Clean pipe run. Pump in. Put some walls in so I have a level to. I like the idea of putting you at a point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put you clipped to the wall. That looks like it's about right. Is that too close? I may need to make this a 1. I think I'll make it just because now we pull in. Clean pipe there. Horizontal to vertical is failing. Guys. Power. I hope he's low. Build a pipeline up there and see what we got. Or can I? Not all the way. Let's bring it halfway. Machines. So between these two machines, this guy getting filled. This guy is getting filled. Yay! Here. I think I'm going to bring it to here. Aesthetics and bring the guys out. Short. And there. So we now have aggressively pumping out of the other end of the pipe here. Tidy this up. Foundations completely. Borehole. I think I've removed the floor hole whole thing. Yes, it does. Darn it. Yeah, I can make this all run in swoop as I can. This pipe. Meter in it. See what we're doing. Guys. Keeping one of them there as a level marker. This guy needs to match his setup and pump it from the other direction. This pump is good. This center one. And go ahead and bring it all the way out here, past everything. We can bring it down. Sealing hole where this is going to happen, but right in that corner. This is desperately going to be trying to fill this, and it's going to fail. The flow actually comes the other direction. It's pushed by a pump that's going to be down here. But we're going to come halfway through here, so one machines this line. Stop. Rest of it. And now we need our pump. Right here. Okay, so he's pumping. That will make it so that both these lines are pressurized from opposite ends. Already see purple juice coming this way. Now it doesn't matter which way it comes in from, but that does mean that I get both directions. That means we can do more than 300 total to all of them. In fact, I could cut this in the middle and each of them would get 160, and that's perfectly happy. The difference might be that we might preferentially be pumping things up into the top guy rather than the bottom guy, but I think we're okay, and especially since it doesn't matter at the other end. As long as we have some in both of them, we're good. If I wanted, I could put a valve over here limiting his through. Don't need to, because he's going to be limited to 300 cubic meters, which means anything in excess of that has to go through the bottom. It means there will be some, at least some, trickling through the bottom to get. I think we are good. Let's tidy it up. And you are fuel. But you're not. You're purple. Which I would have noticed the first time I meter thing. just to make sure, if we are colored the wrong color, we'll see something that looks like that. Not mean to color that. Yeah, when you're coloring things with the swatch, it can color pretty much anything. Some things show the color better than others. Asphalt, for instance, the top surface of asphalt stays that dark gray, but the sides and the bottom do change. And your secondary color is applied to the decals, if I remember correctly from the red. So much like these guys have the foundations built up to hide the framework, looks so nice. I am thinking that with the refineries, we could do something similar. Maybe build it up. Let's see, just we're building this up layer at a time. I think I would stop at that layer. Yeah. So if we were doing something similar, I would put 3 meters of foundation in, and then run inputs and the outputs downward. Ink. That actually looks pretty nice. Okay, so we'll bear that in mind for our eventual build. And hide all this framework under foundations. And at the same time, we end up sealing up our inputs and our outputs as long as they go downward. So subfloor, probably floor -1 of pipes and floor -2 for the solids. That gives me an idea for a blueprint. How much space do these guys take up? 2, 3, 4. So I might be able to get 3 of these in a. Okay, let's check that out. While this is stabilizing, let's actually check that out. Slap down a blueprint designer. Put these guys in. Kind of centered. So you can fit 3 refineries in the 4x4 blueprint. Can you fit them on top of a couple of foundations, though? So if I put in, say if I had 8 meters of foundation, that's a quarter of the height. These guys still fit. Oh, it's too tall. Four meters too tall. 4 meters is too tall. So in this foundation, in this guy, I don't think I can. Partially overlapping. Refineries look like they are. I might be able to put a 1 meter floor underneath, but I certainly can't put it underneath. Okay, experiment complete. Blueprint designer. So with that in place, we should now have our full rate out of these guys. It's indeed running 100%. It's 100%. Kind of spot check the guys. He's 100%, so I've got 6 running 40 per minute output, which means we're getting 360 per minute input, so our heavy oil residue is doing good. We are, for the moment, going at 360. We only got 320 available to us, which means that these will be, our industrials will be kept fairly low quantity. But that's the dodge for handling more than 300 per minute of any. Our drain rate is fluctuating. I could really recommend the ability to have a longer term average on these fill rates and drain rates. I mean, if I want to do long-term average net, I could just snapshot it and then wait 10 minutes and snapshot it again and see how the fluid buffer changed. We all turned on here. I think we're all turned on. Could tell that by looking at. We have 5 gigawatts of power. If I were to sever my connection from here to the rest of the world, right here. Notice that this is the plant itself. So our capacity production are 2.5 gigawatts, and we are consuming 600-ish megawatts. Do it. Rest of the world, it's still limping along. There. Everything hooked up. I should check this. So we have about 2.5 gigawatts of excess capacity right now. I'm going to end the recording, and I'm going to go to the other plant locally here, the other pure node, and I'm going to build this again, possibly a slightly different geometry, but this same plan and layout, and this time I'm going to remember to handle the 320. I may split the factory. I may split it in half. Have these 4 feed into 3 of those, and those 4 feed into 3 of those. So yeah, I may play around with it some, but it's not the kind of playing around that I would want to record. So we will come back when I've got the other half over there upgraded to this build. See you then.